Welcome back, everyone. In this video, I'll walk you through how to connect your sign-up and sign-in forms to your PostgreSQL database using Prisma and Next.js API routes. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a fully functional user authentication system with secure password hashing, session management, and sign-out functionality, all built directly into your app. Before we begin, make sure you have a running PostgreSQL database, Prisma already configured in your project, and a Next.js app that includes authentication forms. If you've followed previous setup videos, you're ready to go. Let's start by installing the required dependencies. You'll need bcrypt.js for password hashing, NextAuth for handling sessions, and Prisma client for connecting to your database. Run the install command in your terminal, and once it's complete, we can move on to updating your schema. Next, open your Prisma schema file. You'll need to define two models, user and session. The user model includes the ID, email, name, password, and timestamps for when the user was created or updated. The session model connects to the user and stores a session token along with its expiration date. This structure allows each user to have one or more active sessions that expire automatically for security. After updating your schema, save the file. Now, in your terminal, run Prisma generate to refresh your client, and then run Prisma db push to apply the changes to your database. This creates the tables for your authentication system and ensures everything is in sync. Next, let's create the database utility file. Inside your lib folder, create a file called db.ts. This file will initialize the Prisma client and ensure that only one instance runs at a time during development. This helps prevent unnecessary connection issues. In production, Prisma manages this automatically, so you won't need to worry about it later. With the database set up, we'll move on to creating authentication utilities. In the same folder, create a file called auth.ts. This file handles password hashing, password verification, and generating unique session tokens. We'll use bcrypt to hash passwords with 12 salt rounds, a solid balance between speed and security. We'll also add a function to verify passwords and another that generates a random token string for each user session. Now it's time to build the API routes. We'll create 3 key endpoints: sign up, sign in, and sign out. For the sign up route, when a user registers, we validate their input, check if the email already exists, hash the password, and store the new user in the database. We then return a confirmation message and some basic details, never the password itself. If something goes wrong, the API responds with a clear error message. For the sign-in route, we verify the user's credentials. If they're valid, we generate a new session token that expires after 7 days and store it in both the database and an HTTP-only cookie. If the email or password is invalid, we return a generic, invalid credentials message for security. Finally, the sign-out route deletes the user's session from the database and clears the cookie, effectively logging them out. Next, we'll create the authentication context. This is what makes authentication available across your React components. Create a new file called authcontext.tsx. This file defines a React context that manages user state and exposes functions to sign in, sign up, and sign out. The auth provider automatically checks if a user is logged in and keeps that state in sync with the browser. That means your components can react instantly to login or logout events without needing to refresh the page. To support this, we'll also create an API route called auth/me. This route checks whether the session token in the user's cookies is valid, and if so, returns their user information. It's great for displaying the current user's name or ensuring they're authenticated before showing private data. Once that's ready, we'll update our root layout file to include the auth provider. Wrapping your app in the auth provider ensures that every page and component can access authentication state without having to pass props manually. This gives you global, secure authentication context across the entire app. Now, let's update the sign-up and sign-in forms. In the sign-up form, add password validation and confirmation. Then use the sign-up function to send data to the sign-up API. If the user is created successfully, redirect them to the sign-in page. In the sign-in form, collect the email and password, call the sign-in function, and on success, navigate the user to their dashboard. Handle errors gracefully and display friendly messages when something goes wrong. Next, we'll protect our private routes with an AuthGuard. The AuthGuard checks if a user is logged in. If not, it redirects them to the sign-in page. While authentication status is being verified, you can show a loading spinner. Once the user is confirmed, it renders the protected content, keeping your dashboard secure and professional. You'll also want to add a sign out button to your dashboard layout. Import the useAuth hook and call sign out when clicked. This clears the user's session and brings them back to the sign-in page. It's simple, clean, and secure. Now it's time to test your implementation. Start your development server, go to the sign up page, and create a new account. Then sign in with those credentials, verify that you can access the dashboard, and finally, click sign out to confirm the session is cleared. If all of that works smoothly, congratulations. You've just implemented a complete authentication system in Next.js with Prisma and PostgreSQL. Let's go over the key security features that make this approach production-ready. Passwords are hashed with bcrypt using 12 salt rounds. Sessions are stored in the database with expiration dates. Tokens are stored in HTTP-only cookies that can't be accessed by JavaScript. Inputs are validated before they reach the database, and generic error messages protect sensitive information. Together, these measures give your authentication system professional-level security. If you run into issues, here are some quick troubleshooting tips. Make sure your database URL is correct in your environment file. Run Prisma Generate after every schema change. Check that your API routes are in the correct directory, and verify that cookies are being properly set and read in your browser. From here, you can expand your system with more advanced features. You could add email verification, password reset functionality, or even integrate OAuth providers like Google or GitHub. For advanced control, you could also add role-based access, two-factor authentication, or rate limiting to protect your endpoints from abuse. And that's it. You've just built a scalable, secure, and modern authentication system for your Next.js application powered by Prisma and PostgreSQL. See the show notes for a link to the Authentication Database Integration Guide located in GitHub. If this tutorial helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and remember, build smart, automate boldly, and stay curious.